Poland is located right in the middle of Central Europe, a place that has always been where East and West meet. Because of its important location, Poland has always played a big part in European history, from old kingdoms to today's fights. It shares borders with Ukraine, Belarus, and even a small part of Russia called Kaliningrad. This puts Poland right next to some of the most troubled countries in the area. Poland's location puts it on the front lines for NATO, making it a key player in how Europe responds to the war in Ukraine. Poland hosts big military exercises and has made its defenses stronger with its Western friends. In the past few years, Poland has welcomed millions of Ukrainian refugees, giving them a safe place, schooling, and jobs. The country also acts as a very important path for military and helping aid to get into Ukraine. This huge support has made Poland a symbol of standing up to Russia's growth, but it also makes Poland a possible target for attacks or things meant to cause trouble. The chance of the fight getting bigger is always there, as we saw on the night of September 9, 2025, when military warnings and emergency sirens sounded in some of Poland's big cities. The tension along Poland's eastern border keeps growing, with more military patrols and repeated warnings from Warsaw about Russia and Belarus causing trouble more and more often. To deal with these threats, Poland has made its military much more modern, buying advanced equipment and building new bases. They know that Poland's safety is super important for all of Europe to stay calm. Any event on Polish land could trigger NATO's Article 5. This means an attack on one member is seen as an attack on all, and that could pull the whole group, including the United States, into a big fight. For people in Poland, everyday life is now shadowed by knowing that their safety is tied to a much bigger global struggle, and decisions made far away could directly affect their lives. This week's events are a clear reminder of how fast a local war can get bigger and how fragile peace is in this area. Poland's position isn't just important, it's the front line for all of Europe. And what happens here will decide the future of the whole continent. On September 9, 2025, the world was shocked by something that had never happened before. A Russian military drone, which was first sent to attack targets in Ukraine, suddenly went off its planned path. Without warning, the drone flew into the airspace of Poland, a NATO country right next to Ukraine. This wasn't just a technical mistake, it was a direct breaking of NATO's borders, with Russian drones flying over important areas in eastern Poland, like Lublin and Podkarpacie, which are key routes for NATO supplies. This air invasion put millions of Polish citizens in direct danger and threatened important things like power plants and transportation systems. Polish authorities were on high alert because they couldn't be sure if the drone was meant to attack Poland, spy, or just try to make NATO react. Unlike earlier missile incidents, this time the breaking of the border was planned, with several drones flying across the border at the same time. Military experts saw this as a careful and thought-out move by Russia, a clear message to scare, and also a real test of NATO's readiness and defense in that area. Moscow seemed to be looking for a weak spot, even willing to risk a direct fight with the West to get what it wanted. This event turned a threat that was only talked about into a scary and real thing for the people of Poland. This was a very big step up, showing Russia's disregard for international rules and NATO's red lines. The world had to watch with worry, waiting to see what both sides would do next. The moment the drone crossed the border, Poland's military jumped into action. Fighter jets, both Polish and NATO, rushed into the night sky to stop the threat. Air defense systems tracked and targeted the drones, successfully shooting down several of them. Ground teams searched for the wreckage to figure out where it came from. People in eastern Poland were told to stay inside as the crisis unfolded above them. The quick and coordinated response showed Poland's readiness and NATO's combined defense power. Years of investing in military readiness paid off at this critical moment. The message to Moscow was clear: Poland will defend its land. The drone invasion forced Poland to close its airspace over large areas, shutting down major airports. This move was sudden, surprising many, and marking a big step up in the security crisis in the region. Warsaw Chopin Airport, the country's main international hub, stopped all flights, causing a mess with travel plans and cancelling hundreds of domestic and international flights. Thousands of people were stuck, many not knowing when they could continue their journeys. This situation messed up travel across Europe and caused a lot of worry for travelers. Other important airports, including those near the Ukrainian border, also closed, spreading the impact of the shutdown to a wider area and making the transportation crisis worse. These closures also affected military and humanitarian aid routes, slowing down the delivery of important help to conflict zones and affected areas. The shutdown was a direct response to the risk of drones hitting civilian planes, which could be very bad for flight safety. Also, there was worry that civilian planes could get caught in military fights in the air, adding a new layer of danger in the European skies. The US FAA confirmed how serious the situation was, warning international airlines to stay away from Polish airspace. They called it unplanned military activity, showing how quickly a situation can turn into an emergency. The closure showed how quickly a military crisis can mess up daily life and the global economy, from local businesses to international markets. For travelers and airlines, the war was no longer far away. Its effects were now right in front of their eyes. Many families and individuals had to change their plans, facing uncertainty and worry in the middle of a situation that kept changing. This event showed how easily the conflict in Ukraine could spread to NATO areas, making tensions higher across Eastern Europe. Poland's response put the safety of regular people first by making security tighter and speeding up evacuations in risky areas. But this disruption was a strong warning to all of Europe that stability could be messed up at any time. The ripple effects of the airport closures in Poland were felt far beyond the country's borders, affecting travel, money, and the feeling of safety across the whole continent. Before the drones entered Polish airspace, the Ukrainian Air Force issued a crucial alert. Ukrainian radar operators tracked the unusual drone trajectory and informed their Polish counterparts. This real-time intelligence gave Poland precious minutes to prepare its response. The cooperation between Ukraine and Poland is proof of their shared security interests. Ukraine's experience in defending its skies is now a vital asset for NATO's eastern flank. The alert proved that supporting Ukraine isn't just about solidarity, it's essential for regional security. Without Kyiv's warning, the risk to Polish civilians and infrastructure would have been much greater. The drone going into Polish airspace made NATO and the US speak out right away. NATO officials worked closely with Warsaw, showing the alliance's full support. US leaders called the event very serious, with some calling it an act of war and asking for tougher punishments on Russia. The White House and State Department watched the situation closely, pushing for a united response from the West. Lawmakers suggested new punishments that would target Russia's oil money. The strong and united reaction sent a clear message. NATO stands with Poland, and Russia's actions will have consequences. The alliance's determination was tested, and it stayed strong. Poland's strong support for Ukraine has made it a prime target for Russia's pressure. As a main supplier of weapons and aid and a key place for moving goods, Poland is seen by Moscow as a direct problem. Russia's actions are meant to test how strong NATO is and scare Poland into backing down. This isn't just one event. It's a mix of different attacks, false information, and border problems that have become normal. Because of this, Poland has closed its border with Belarus and is spending more on its military. The country is getting ready for a long fight, knowing its safety depends on staying strong. Poland's actions show they are taking Russia's threats very seriously. Their strong will is super important for the whole group. For the people of Poland, especially in the east, the drone invasion is a scary reminder of how close the war is. Air raid sirens and government warnings broke the peace, making the conflict feel very personal. The airport closing left thousands of people stuck, messing up their daily lives and showing how easily normal life can be disrupted. This event made people more worried, but it also made the country stronger. Instead of scaring them, the crisis brought Poles together to support Ukraine and NATO. The lesson was clear: peace can't be taken for granted. Being watchful and sticking together are more important now than ever. What's happening in Poland is a warning for everyone around the world. Russia flying into NATO airspace is a dangerous step. It's testing the main idea of how the alliance protects itself. The world is watching to see if NATO's response will stop more attacks. This problem shows how a fight in one area can mess up travel, trade, and safety all over the world. Following international laws and respecting each country's right to govern itself is super important for peace everywhere. Poland's strong stand, with NATO's help, is keeping things in order. The future of safety around the world might depend on how everyone reacts to what's happening right now.